Engines from all over both railways, both the Spider Mountain Railway and the Wooden Railway, were all called into the Wooden Railway for an indignation meeting at the turntable in the courtyard. You're probably wondering why I called you all you engines here today. Well, it's an important question with an important answer. You see, we have a bit of a shortage here on the railway. As you know, Thomas and Henry are still missing, and Diesel is still at the works. So, I don't know how we're going to work this out, but I've arranged some of you engines to cross over to the Spider Mountain Railway and back. She then turned to B and DK. You two shunt. Anthony, you continue your branch line. Gordon and James will take turns taking the express. Deason will have to do Diesel's work over in the Spider Mountain Railway. Mike, I want you to go help him. And James, you take the express right now. Gordon will take the next one. Daisy, you continue taking Diesel's passengers. And Boko, well, what can we do with you, Boko? Well, I could work in the quarry and keep B and DK in order. Okay, that's settled. You two go help. You two go with Boko now. Yes, ma'am, they said. Oh, yes, they said. So the three engines went to the quarry. Now the rest of you off to your duties. So Mike and Diesel went inside the house and all the way up here into the Spider Mountain Railway. You'll have to teach me around because I don't know anything about this railway. I don't even know if I can couple to those cars properly. Don't worry about it. You'll get the hang of it. Just follow my orders. Follow my lead. So Mike coupled himself to the cars and off he went. You know, this is very similar to my old railway where passengers were in the outside of the car, like it was an outdoor, like convertible looking car. I worked with Jock and Bert. Who are they? Asked Deason. But Mike was already on his way. I'll tell you later, he shouted. Okay, I'll be waiting. Mike took the passengers out and they had a lovely time. Meanwhile, back on the Wooden Railway, Daisy was traveling along with Diesel's passengers. Anthony was continuing his branch line at the docks. He was waiting for the main line engines to pass. Gordon watched as James was ready to leave. Be careful, he said. The hills are slippery. You may need help. I don't need help on hills, replied James. Gordon thinks he knows everything. Earlier, a storm had swept Gordon's hill, blowing leaves onto the tracks, and even though the storm had passed, the hill was still difficult to climb. James knew this, but when the signal dropped, he began to go faster. I'll do it, he said. Halfway up, he wasn't so sure. I must do it, he said. He couldn't pull the train at all. Help, help, he cried. His wheels were moving forward, but the heavy coaches pushed him backwards. The whole train started slipping down the hill. His driver reduced steam and put on the brakes. Then carefully, he stopped the train. Gordon saw everything. Well, we live and learn. Never mind, little James. I'm going to push behind. Clouds of smoke and steam poured from both engines as they struggled up the hill. We can do it, puffed James. We will do it, puffed Gordon. At last, they reached the top. Beep, beep. Thank you. Goodbye, whistled James. Boop, boop, answered Gordon. Goodbye. Goodbye. James still complained. Why are these sharp bends not tipping over the passenger cars? Maybe it's these asshole coaches that are causing problems. If you don't behave, I'm going to tell Merida and she's going to have you engine scrapped. This made the coaches behave. Thanks so much for your help, Gordon, said James. No problem. So, James, how else can I help? You mean you don't want to pull the express? No, he said. Well, maybe for a holiday, but I'm ready to work. You got a job for me? Gordon, I want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to me very carefully. These coaches are being dicks. You need to teach them a lesson. Okay, I could do that. So James uncoupled himself, and then Gordon took the coaches. But wait, didn't you tell me not to take the express? Wink, wink. You're not, but you're gonna pretend you are. The coaches didn't hear. Ooh, we're gonna push Gordon now. We're gonna teach him a lesson. Then the turntable switched back to the opposite line. Let's hold back when he gets up the hill. Hold back, they called. Gordon pretended to struggle, but then he went backwards. He reversed soup really fast. The coaches couldn't stop, and they were shocked. Whoa! And they crashed right into the turntable. Merida wasn't very happy, but understood. Gordon, you've done it. I hope these coaches learn a lesson, because every time you go on sharp edges, sharp turns, the hill and the switches, they always derail. You'll have to do something about them. And indeed I did, he said. Ma'am, let's teach them a lesson. Yes, let's. So they did, and the coaches behaved with no problem after that. Back at the quarry, the twins, the fraternal twins in Boko, were just chatting away. He said, sometimes shunting freight cars isn't so bad. No, it isn't, said DK. I enjoy it a lot, said B. But I do miss putting ballast on the line. Just then, something really fast passed it. Whoa, said B. What in the world was that? That's a speeding bullet. That's no speeding bullet, he said. That's Diesel. He's back. That's right, I'm back. And better than ever. I'm gonna surprise my nephew. So he went through the magic door, up into the Spider Mountain Railway once again. So now you know how to shunt the freight cars now, right, Mike? Yes, indeed. This was fun, even though I have a hard time pulling them because I have a magnet. I don't have a hook and eye or male and female coupling like you and your uncle do. Yeah. Then Merida arrived. Diesel, I'm going to do exactly what I did to Diesel. I'm going to race you to the other station and tell you what to do. It's a surprise, after all. It's like Halloween. We trick or treat. So I'm going to either trick you by racing you or treat you by giving you something to do. All right, no problem. I'll meet you there. Last one there is a rotten egg. And Diesel sped there. Merida was also in on the plan. Diesel was at the top of the hill, pretending to be broken down again. Diesel arrived. Not again, Diesel. Ugh. I guess I'll have to bring you back to the works again. So he pushed and then... Whoa! I got you, nephew. Whoa! You're going too fast. Whoa! I wish I can go that fast. I'd tease and race you. Oh, never mind. Oh, I can't stop. I can't see. What's the matter? My eyes. Mike saw everything. I better switch tracks before there's a huge crash. So Mike shunted the freight cars onto the other line. He shunted the freight cars onto the other line out of the way, and then he watched Diesel get slaughtered in by Diesel. You know, it's a good thing this railway is only 2 circles because he'd be going all over the place. Haha, this is what you get, Diesel, for pretending you're stronger than all the other engines. I never said I was stronger. I just felt that I do too much work. Stop this crazy train, please. I'm gonna have to go to work next. Okay, Diesel, stop. Ha. I hope you learned your lesson, Deezen. I don't really know what lesson I learned, but whatever.